Today, I want to talk about time and time management. There's a lot of skills wrapped up in what we think of as time management. One of the most important ones that are very hard for most people with ADHD is judging time, our feeling of time. The way I like to describe this to people who don't get this, maybe who judge time well, is that time is like your native language. If you judge time well and don't struggle with this, think of time as like your native language. If you're someone like me who does not judge time well, doesn't have that internalized feeling of time automatically, I think of time as my second language. Now, I can speak Spanish. It is not my native language. So I can communicate, I can function, I can get around, I can even appreciate humor, right? But at the end of the day, if I get really mad or I get really tired or something kind of takes a lot of my mental and emotional energy, I'm thinking in English. That's my native language, is what I'm going to go back to. That's my default. And so even though we can get really good with strategies and kind of external supports to help us manage this tricky judgment of time, it may not ever be your native language. And that's okay. You can still function, you can still communicate, you can still operate in your non-native language. You can be bilingual, you can be trilingual and more. So this is not an impossibility. But when we don't judge time well, that's a big foundational piece in time management that's missing. And so some of the strategies that we're using might not work if we can't get a little bit better fluency with time. My name is Danae. I'm an occupational therapist and executive functioning coach, and I am here to make life easier if you have ADHD. We think something's going to take 10 minutes, it takes 2 hours. We think something's going to take 2 hours, it takes 5 minutes, and this can jam us up in both directions. The misjudgment that often is targeted is underestimating how long things take, because that's what's really visible to everyone outside of us. I think I'm getting to work at 8. I don't have everything ready. I get out the door a lot later than I planned. I come late to work. So that's really evident. What people don't recognize is that when we overestimate how long things take, that also really jams us up. It's really behind a lot of overwhelm. So if I go to a task and I think, oh my gosh, this is going to take me 3 hours and it takes me 20 minutes, you might think, oh, great, you'll have all that extra time. That's not the way it works for a lot of people. If I think it's going to take me that long, it's very hard to get started. People end up shut down because of how overwhelmed they are. They're seeing everything at the same time. The amount of time they think it's going to take completely overwhelms them. They can't get started. So rather than this idea of like, oh, it took me so much less, I have all this extra time, instead they feel paralyzed because of how big everything looks from a time perspective. There's a couple ways that we can get better at time and get better at feeling time. One of the biggest is making that time outside of yourself, making it not something you're just thinking about, judging, understanding on a conceptual thought level, but actually putting it into your physical world. So that might mean a sand timer. That might mean one of those timers where you can see time pass. I'm not talking about like a regular clock. There's timers where it looks like a pie and you can see the time elapsing. And it really helps you get a physical feeling, knowing of time to see, okay, this is this chunk in an hour. That's what it felt like passing. And so using some of these tools that put time outside of you can be really helpful when time judgment's hard. Another thing you can do is just start the game of judging how long things take. You might be really bad at this. And so approach it that way. Approach it as an experiment. Have fun with it. Understand that like if you're really bad at it, that's cool, right? Like if you thought it was going to take 30 minutes, it took 2 hours, great. So now you have more information about how that played out. You know, some people, when they do this for a while, they realize, hey, I really consistently overestimate, or I really consistently underestimate, or maybe both. The one thing to keep in mind with judging time and feeling time is that even if you have a lot of other strategies that are working for you, this might not ever be super intuitive for you. I know for me, like I have a lot of strategies, a lot of time strategies, a lot of ways that I manage my time that help me overcome this lack of feeling of time. But at the end of the day, if those strategies aren't in place, I'm still not feeling time all that well. I went on vacation with my sister not very long ago, and we were in Rome, and we had made these reservations to see the Colosseum and have this tour like months in advance, been up to midnight to kind of make sure we got our tickets because they were hard to get. And on our way to the Colosseum, we're like, oh, we're going to stop in this glass store. It was a time warp. It was like, whoa, we kind of came to realizing that our Coliseum tour started in 10 minutes and we were like nowhere close to the Coliseum. And we had to just book it and rush. And of course, we were late and they were gracious and let us in. But it was one of those times where I was like, oh, yeah, I am just as bad at feeling time as I always have been. I'm just used to using strategies in my normal day that I didn't try to implement on vacation. Because on vacation, I wasn't trying to function in my work day, but that difficulty judging time and feeling time was still there. It's not my native language. It's not what I'm going to default to if I am not intentionally using it and using those strategies. Another strategy is buffering. Buffering works really well when you are consistently underestimating the time that things take. So if you notice that, hey, man, I'm always a good 30 minutes behind, creating some buffers and space for yourself is for life to happen, for traffic jams to happen, for you to not be able to find your keys, whatever is going on, creating a little more space intentionally. Now, a tip for doing that, because a lot of times with people I work with, if they create a buffer and they show up somewhere early, they feel frustrated. They feel like they're wasting time and they're there. Hey, I stopped doing this thing I want to do. I'm here early. There's no reason for me to be here early. So one of the ways to make buffering work for you, if you think that's true for you, is have something that you can do that's easy to stop in those buffered times so you don't feel like you've lost time, or something enjoyable. I mean, it could be Candy Crush. It doesn't have to be something that's productive, but think ahead on like, hey, I'm creating some buffer just for my own peace. What do I want to live in this time if I don't need it? That can help you kind of create that without the friction of feeling frustrated that your time is not being used the way you want it. So this is just one piece of time management. There is a lot that goes into time management and working with time and working with your brain if this is hard for you. If you need more help and more support doing that, check out my group coaching program. There's a link below. And you can join the waiting list, join us, and learn how to work with your brain even when you're on vacation. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.